Alright, here we are with some Tekken 8. A bit random, I know, it is a bit random. No one really likes this game right now. But, look, I just love the way this game feels, right? And I've been playing it. I've played 3 different characters in the past, like, 2 weeks. I started playing Kazuya, then I started playing Mars, and now I'm playing Heihachi. Because I just think the characters in this game are really fun. Are they more universalized than ever before? Yeah. You know, every character is just a stance character now. But, I don't know. I like the movesets, I like the way characters feel, whatever, right? And for me personally, right, obviously Street Fighter 6 is absolutely gapping this game. If you don't know, I mean, the player count has been there the whole time. The player count in Street Fighter 6 is just insanely high compared to Tekken 8. But even EVO Japan is happening soon. And EVO Japan, there are 980 people entering the Tekken 8 tournament. Not bad. However, when you look at first place, which is Street Fighter 6, there are 7,200 people entering the tournament. So the gap between Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 is insane. Although Tekken 8 is still undoubtedly the second most popular fighting game, and I wouldn't call it dead. However, you can really feel that reflected in the player base because I'm only in purple rank, and it feels like I'm back in blue rank and Tekken King because the player base has died so much, and the rank reset has kind of just ruined the ranks, in my opinion. So, with that combined, it makes lower ranks harder because they reset everyone's ranks, and the player base has died. So really, you're more likely to find people who are blue ranks or Tekken King like I was. So, it makes low ranks feel way more annoying than they used to feel. But whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, let me know how you feel about Street Fighter 6, because I think Street Fighter 6 is a way better game than this game. But there's one thing that I can't stand more, and this does not apply to fighting games, this applies to every video game. And I started playing fighting games with DragonBallfighterz, right? And DragonBallfighterz got an insane amount of changes throughout its lifespan. I cannot stand when a game becomes stale and stays the same. And that is why I'm playing Tekken 8 over That guy just key charged. That's why I'm playing Tekken 8 over Street Fighter 6. I cannot stand when a game just does not change. And yeah, let's be honest, Tekken 8 has changed for the worse. You could argue that this is the worst patch in fighting game history. But at the same time, it's the worst patch in fighting game history because it was just a monumental change that made no sense. They changed so much. And that's why I'm playing the game. Because they changed so much. It feels like a new game. Does it feel like a worse game? Yeah. But it feels like a new game. Street Fighter 6 has not gotten one update in its entire lifespan. You could argue that it's gotten some updates, but let's be honest, it's never gotten a meaningful update in its entire lifespan. And although Street Fighter 6 is 100% the better game, me personally, as a person, I cannot play the same game for that long. And mainly that's because I'm used to fight. Again, I started fighting games in the 2018 era. So that was when Street Fighter V was going crazy. Tekken, even Tekken 8 was going crazy. Dragon Ball FighterZ came out. Dragon Ball FighterZ got 8 characters in its first year, not to mention all the balance updates and all that. Like, I'm used to games getting content and just getting changes. And now we're in an age of fighting games that have been getting the least amount of content in fighting game history. And also, in Street Fighter 6's case, the least amount of updates we've ever seen for a fighting game in modern times. And look, let's be honest, that could be a good thing, right? I mean, Tekken 8 got an update and we saw what happened to that game. So, yeah, maybe not getting an update is for the better, because even though I personally dislike the Street Fighter 6 meta, I think it's really unfun. It's a much more stable and accepted and solid meta than whatever is happening in this game. So maybe changing it would be a bad thing. But for me personally, I'm just a maniac. So I would say change it anyways, because I just prefer, like, look, I'm willingly playing Tekken 8, and that's because the game feels different and it feels new. That's why I'm playing it. So I wish Street Fighter 6 would go across that change, because if Street Fighter 6 started getting changes that were crazy, I would be playing that game every day instead of this game. Although, like I said, I do like the characters in this game. But yeah, this game is in shambles, and I've taken on a new philosophy for Tekken 8. You know, my philosophy for fighting games is just like, you know, always play to get better. I mean, I guess you could say I was a pretty competitive player. And I still am, I guess, but for Tekken 8, my new philosophy is just close the game whenever something bad happens, you know? You lose a match, just stop playing. Don't queue up again. Because this game is a joke, right? So, really, normally, right, when you lose in a fighting game, it's a skill issue, 100%, right? And if you cry about that, you're just bad at the game. And if you get mad at that, it's only your own fault. However, I think Tekken 8 is the first game where I can say, I don't even know if it was a skill issue, you know? I don't even know if that guy was just better than me, or if I don't know if I deserve to lose that, you know? And because of that, I just get off the game and I just don't even grind it. I just play the game until I'm satisfied at this point, and then that's it. I don't play it to get better or anything like that. I just play it to mess around with the characters, because, you know, it's hard for me to say, oh, that guy's better than me, I should learn what he did, because it really just doesn't matter at this point. And I'm gonna explain in a second the character that I think embodies that. But, you know, overall, I still enjoy playing the game. But I'm not, you know, I used to enter tournaments and all that. I'm not doing that. Like, this, I personally believe that you should not take this game serious at all. I don't think that you should take this game serious. I think this game is a joke. I would take Marvel vs. Capcom 3 serious before I took this game serious. That's just my opinion. And there's just something wrong with their brains over at Bandai. Like, and I always knew this. I made a video about this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, before this game even came out, where I was talking about Bandai, specifically Harada. They have this very ignorant mindset, and I never forgot about that. And I always said I don't like the way that those guys talk about this. And what I was mainly referring to is, I remember the rollback is... Does anyone remember the rollback is 3 incident? Where, like, everyone was asking for rollback in Tekken 7, and Harada said, like, there already is rollback, like, rollback is 3, or whatever. He said something like that. And it was, like, this super ignorant, like, response, where it was just, like, we're always right and you're always wrong, right? And I never liked that little thing they got going on at Tekken 8. They got that little or Tekken in general. They got that little mindset going on. And, I mean, obviously it's transferred over here with the way they were handling this situation, and now they're only just starting to own up to it within the past few weeks, which is nice, but again, I've always felt that way about Bandai, or what the Tekken team in general, where they just seem like they have like this very like high up mindset where they think that they're just always right, and, you know, rollback is 3, we can do no wrong, you're the wrong one. I made a video about that a few years ago. I forgot what it was called. It was talking about the Tekken 7 netcode situation, no, that's for sure. But I personally believe that that same kind of mindset is what got them into this problem as well, because, you know, they're very, I would say they're very, like, harsh people, specifically Michael Murray and Harada. I feel like they're very, like, aggressive people, I would say, when it comes to talking to the community, where they're like, oh, you know, we understand that the Tekken 8 update looks bad, but see it for yourself, and, you know, don't complain, blah blah blah. And everyone was complaining before the update came out, and then the update came out, and it was a disaster, and it's like, so we were right the whole time, you just were just, you know, it's like that whole thing. It's like, I don't like the way that Bandai, specifically the Tekken team, talks to their community, because they always seem like they know what's best, and they insist that they know better than you, and they kind of get this cocky attitude about it. It's like with the whole rollback is 3 thing. I just personally always felt off-put by the way they talk about stuff like that, and I think that that is a big factor in what happened with this update, where they just don't listen to their community, and they think they know best, and then look what happens. And I'm fighting Law, and I think that Law is the embodiment of the Tekken 8 design philosophy. So let me try to explain this quickly. Let's look at Ryu. Ryu is a character who has a very basic mix-up. You know, he has his forward medium punch, his little overhead, right? So Ryu can perform mix-ups. Ryu also has a pretty decent fireball. He's not the best zoner in the game, but he has a pretty decent fireball. Ryu has pretty good damage. That's probably his best aspect, I would say. Pretty good damage. He has, you know, relatively decent range. You know, he got some long normals. That's about it, you know. He has basic mix-ups, a fireball, decent damage. His buttons are pretty good, but they're not amazing, right? They're not, like, absolutely spectacular. Ryu was designed that way because he is designed to be the gateway character. He is designed to... If you don't understand how to play this game, you pick Ryu, and Ryu allows you to have every tool that a character could have in Street Fighter 6. However, even though Ryu has a fireball, he can't zone better than Guile. Even though Ryu has decent damage, he doesn't have better damage than Marisa, who is focused on damage. You get what I'm saying? Ryu has access to every tool, but he's not better at that tool than the character who specifically specializes in that tool. So let's look at Law. Law is the Ryu of this game. He is the easiest character in the whole game. He is designed to get you into the game. The difference between Law and Ryu, however, is that Law also has every tool that you could want in a Tekken game. However, he excels at every category better than the characters that are specially made for that category. For example, let's look at Law's mids. For example, Law's mids are probably the best in the game, or up there. He has so many natural combos that do so much damage, and they wall splat for no reason. Why does his heat burst wall splat? Like, what are we doing? Law is the easiest character in the game. He has every single tool that a character can want. He has an insane amount of lows. He has insane mids that are also heat activators, by the way, that are also natural combos. And almost all of his moves wall splat. He has most of his moves, he ducks during them, or he jumps during them. He is just he's designed to be the easiest character in the game, but they made sure that he excels at every single category. So imagine if Ryu could outzone Guile, did more damage than Marisa, and had better mix-ups than anybody in the game. That's what Law is. Law is Ryu if Ryu was the best in his class at every single aspect. So, if a character specializes in something in Tekken 8, there's a pretty good chance that Law does it better than them, and everything else. Law is not the only character that is this way, but in my opinion, Law is the easiest character in the entire game. And Law wasn't always like this. This is just a Tekken 8 thing. And because of this, Law players are some of the most unlikable, toxic people you will ever meet. I'm gonna be honest with you, Law players just, it feels like they came straight from Mortal Kombat. They're very unlikable. They taunt the most, they key charge, they're very toxic, they teabag. They're just very unlikable people. So, By the way, the ending to this match is insane. But yeah, for the most part, LoL players are very like toxic in this game. They'll teabag you, key charge you, because LoL allows bad players to really think that they're good at the game, and it reminds me of the Mortal Kombat community. Like they feel like they're part of the Mortal Kombat community. By the way, I'm just gonna put this match in here as a little bonus. This was the promotion match. It's not really a big deal, but you know, why not? And I also want to keep yapping about the LoL design philosophy, because it is just the problem with this game is LoL. Like the way they designed LoL feels like the way they designed every other character, and I'm willing to bet that because LoL was one of the first characters they revealed. I don't know if anyone remembers when they used to do those gameplay demonstrations when the game was very first revealed. I remember they used Paul and LoL, King as well, but yeah, LoL was one of the first characters they've ever shown, and I feel like that's because LoL was designed to, like, LoL is Tekken 8, in my opinion, and it seems that he was designed that way. So yeah, it's unfortunate, because I know LoL is a legacy character. People have been playing him for decades, and honestly, they kind of ruined them, and LoL players are just, like, very unlikable, which is sad, because I'm sure they weren't always like that way, and I know people, there's always going to be people who hated LoL, you know, in the past, but now it's just a different level, and yeah, they're just super toxic most of the time, too. It's sad, but it's the way that this game has been going, I guess, you know. Overall, though, you know, let me know how you feel about that. Maybe that's been said already. Maybe that's already a known fact, what I just said about LoL. But let me know if you agree with that, because I do believe that LoL was designed to be Tekken 8. I believe he is Tekken 8. So, and again, LoL is not the only character that's like that, but he is the best at being Tekken 8, in my opinion. But don't get me wrong, there's tons of brain dead characters in this game. Every character is more brain dead than they were in a previous game. This is the most brain dead Tekken game ever made, which is why people don't like it. But again, I believe LoL was the character who was created, who created that design philosophy. And will we ever see a version of this game that is not brain dead? I don't know. Season 1 was pretty brain dead, not as brain dead as this, but Season 1 was pretty brain dead. I'm super curious for the future of this game. Do they double down? Do they take that Tekken team ignorance and double down and make it worse like they just did? Or do they finally start listening to the community? That's really what I want to know, because personally, the gap between Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 is so big right now that I don't know if they could ever bring this game back to what it was. But who knows? All I do know is that they got to do it soon. We can't be waiting until Season 3 to get those changes, because it's, in my opinion, it's already too late. They've already done too much damage. But at the very least, they could salvage something. Because they have the number 2 spot right now. They can keep it. It won't be hard to keep it if they just listen. But again, I feel like the Tekken team is known for not listening ever since Tekken 7. They're very, very stubborn about things. So, you know, anyways, you know, like, sub. Bit of a long video, but I just wanted to really yap about Tekken overall, because I do like the game. I like Tekken, but I've been playing a lot of it recently, and these are just thoughts that I've had while playing the game. So, you know, like, sub, let me know if you agree with the stuff that I said. And yeah, Street Fighter, or Capcom Fighting Collection 2 comes out in about 10 days, so I will be uploading that and reviewing it. Peace.